You must be able to get over this one thing if you want to perform at your best. If we haven't met before, my name is Alec Rasmussen. I work with high performers from professional athletes to CEOs to executives and entrepreneurs, helping them conquer their mind so they can perform and succeed at their highest level. And today I want to show you the one thing that you absolutely have to get over if you want to get out of your own way and actually perform at your best. So this is what it is. It is the topic of good and bad. This is where all the problems and the doubts and the insecurities and the fears and the desires that we have come from. This one concept of good and bad. It sits on this spectrum, and you have on the one side, you have the positive, and on the other side, you have the negative. So we'll start with the bad. So over here on the bad side, you obviously have your fear, you have your anxiety, you have all the bad events that happen in your life, all right, all the negative thoughts and opinions and judgments, that all lives on this side. And then, of course, on the other side, on the opposite side of this, and actually one thing to add is failure, right? Making mistakes, failing, losing. That all sits on this side. And so, of course, on the flip side, you obviously have confidence. Right? These are all the things that you want to feel, all the things that you want to have happen to you. You have happiness, you have good, you have positive, and you have success, and you have winning. Right? The reason that you have to get over this, if you actually want to perform at your best, is because as long as you believe in this concept, you will have the desire for the good. And because you have the desire for the good, for the positive, because you want to win, because you want to succeed, at the same time, because you have that, the effect of that is you will have the fear and the anxiety of not getting it, right? You have the fear of losing. You have the anxiety around failure. You have the negative thoughts, and you have negative thoughts, and your negative thoughts affect you. Your negative emotions affect you because you desire positive thoughts. You think positive thinking is the answer. You think positive emotions is the answer. And I'm going to show you why that blocks you from peak performance, because as long as you want the good over here, you are always going to experience the bad as well. And so it becomes this cycle, right? It becomes this emotional roller coaster that looks like this, because you desire the good, which means you experience the bad, and then you get the good, and then you get the bad, and it just becomes this cycle. It becomes this roller coaster of emotions, right? That's been your experience, right? I mean, it's the experience I went through. It's the experience that all my clients go through. It's the same thing. It's this roller coaster of emotions. You feel really good when everything goes well, and then you feel really bad when everything doesn't go well. Right? When you have positive thoughts and you're feeling good, you're feeling confident, you're feeling happy, great. It's amazing. You really want to attach to that. But because you really want to attach to that, you then experience the lows, you then lose, you experience a failure or a mistake, and then all the anxiety kicks in, all the nerves kicks in, all the fear kicks in, and that prevents you from performing at your best. And so you say, okay, well, I get that. I get that because I want to feel good, I feel bad, and I feel really bad because it affects me. Not only do I feel bad, I then feel bad about feeling bad. And yes, I make mistakes, and yes, I fail, but then I feel bad about that failure. I feel bad about making those mistakes because I want to succeed. I want to feel good. I want to win. Of course, that makes total sense. So then what's the answer? The answer is not balance. The answer is not to care. The answer is not detachment and all those things that you will hear. The answer is this point way down here. So at the moment, you and everyone else plays the game of good versus bad. You play the game of winning and losing, succeeding and failing, feeling confident, having anxiety, feeling great, feeling sad. You play this game, and around and around and around we go. But you imagine stepping back from this game and getting to this point over here. You're no longer playing the game of good and bad, and this polarization. This down here is peace and freedom, and it is also flow. The reason that you must get over this game of good and bad in order to perform and succeed at the level that you know that you can and want to be at is because as long as you play this game, yes, sometimes you will feel confident and happy and you will win and you'll feel good. It's not that those are bad things. It's not that those are something to avoid. It is just that as long as you desire that side, this side of the curve, you will always, always, always have this side over here, the fear, the anxiety, the bad feelings, the negative thoughts, the failure, and the losing. As long as you play that game, there has to be both sides, right? There's no one-sided coin, right? There's no one-sided piece of paper. That's how life is. There is always the positive and the negative. But these are concepts that we make up by the mind. We have opinions, we have judgments, we judge whether we feel confident, we judge whether we've won or we've lost. But in all of this, there is also just this objective truth. You know, that old saying of it is what it is. But it is our mind, it is us that places these judgments and these opinions of good versus bad, and these, you know, happiness versus sadness, confidence versus anxiety or fear. They are our opinions, they are our judgments, and often they are dictated to us by events, right? We feel good when we win, we feel bad when we lose. And as long as you play that game, as long as you let external events affect the way that you feel about yourself, you will be on this cycle, you will be on this roller coaster. But when you step off of that roller coaster and you see things as it is what it is, it was a game that we lost, it is a game, then you get to this point down here where you're no longer playing the game of good versus bad. You just are. You are just experiencing. You hit a golf shot and the golf ball goes where it goes. You shoot the basketball and it either goes in or it doesn't, and you move on. And that is this point down here. That is peace. That is freedom. That is flow. Because when you no longer desire to win, you no longer have the fear of losing. When you no longer have the desire to be confident, you no longer have the anxiety and the doubt that comes in that questions that confidence. And so it is literally not caring how you feel. And it's not just, you know, that's very prescriptive. I'm not telling you to not care how you feel. I'm saying that if you desire to be confident, you will have the fear and the anxiety and the doubt that questions that confidence. But whether you're confident or not, you can still compete. You can still run. You can still do whatever you need to do to compete, to perform. So it doesn't actually make a difference. It is what it is. But when you get off that roller coaster, when you step back from this game of good and bad and you see things as they are, then you experience reality as it is. And that is flow, because you're no longer thinking, oh, that was a mistake. Oh, that was really good. Oh, you know, I hope I don't mess up in the future. I hope I don't have a bad game. I hope I don't, you know, underperform. I don't, you know, all of these things that comes from playing this game of good versus bad. But when you step off that roller coaster and you experience life just as it is and you allow it to be as it is, you're no longer thinking and judging and having opinions about everything. You are simply doing, you are simply being. And in that state, you will find that because you no longer want the good, you no longer experience the bad. That's why peace lives in this middle bit. And it's not the middle, but it's off the roller coaster. That's why you experience this freedom, not because it's some state that you got to, not because it's something that you achieved that gave you that feeling of freedom. It's simply because you no longer desire the good, you no longer experience the bad. You no longer desire to have positive thoughts. You are no longer affected by negative thoughts. They're all just thoughts. They're all just emotions. There's no longer a need to place a label on them. And when you stop labeling, you start seeing things simply as they are, and you are able to respond effectively, rationally, without the emotion, without the mind getting in your way. And that's why flow lives here as well, because when you're no longer chasing success, you're no longer chasing and trying to perform at your best, you are simply playing, you are simply performing. And because you are no longer chasing success, and because you are no longer have that intense desire for winning, you no longer have the impact of the fear and the anxiety of losing and performing poorly and making mistakes. And you are free to simply perform. And that is when you perform at your best. And that is why this is the one thing that you must absolutely get over if you want to truly perform at your best.